There are two things in this world that really make me feel uncomfortable. The first is being told that I'm unfunny, and the second is just being in the ocean. There's something about the unknown abyss and the restriction of your movement that just really freaks me out. But even though I have a distaste for it, apparently not everyone does, because people are paying $250,000 to make a quick trip to see the ruins of the Titanic. So there's been a story developing over the course of 3 to 4 days so far where a group of 5 passengers actually went down 13,000 feet under the ocean to actually visit the ruins of the Titanic. But unfortunately, they've gotten stuck as some issue actually happened with the submarine itself. Now, no one knows whether or not there was a power failure or a pressurization failure, but people have been really speculating as to what could have gone wrong. And I mean, honestly, if you look at the video that CBS released kind of documenting the construction of the submarine itself, you'll kind of see that everything could have gone wrong.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
So you're telling me that people signed their life away for $250,000 to go and see some rusted piece of shit under the water? Brother, do you know how small that submarine is? It's gonna smell like shit. If someone farts, it's a game over. Like, it just is. Do you think in that form that he signed, it said that you can't eat garlic or any fart-inducing foods for 1 week prior to the excursion?
Wow. Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet. Sort of.
Okay, no, I need to know how they dispose of that, because no, now I have to go back on my garlic comment. How do they dispose of that then? Like, what? No, I need to know more.
And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
Brother, what is that? Now, one of the main things that kind of go along with this story is the fact that they actually use a Logitech controller to actually pilot the thing. Now, this is like a $20 controller, so it's pretty hodgepodge, but I mean, to be fair, this is actually common practice even within the military, where they use like makeshift like Xbox 360 controllers. So even though this is like a little scuff, like it actually is fine. And I'm sure that, to be fair, they do have to kind of like MacGyver their way through the construction of this submarine, as long as it's pressurized correctly. And that's said even in this part.
It seems like this submersible has some elements of MacGyver-y jerry-rigness. I mean, you're putting construction pipes as ballast.
I don't know if I'd use that description of it, but there's certain things that you want to be buttoned down. So the pressure vessel is not MacGyver at all, because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
I mean, that's just kind of the reality with most engineering things in general. I mean, it's just like, if it works, it works. But I think when you're spending A, $250,000 and B, going as low as 13,000 feet down the ocean floor, you want maybe a $50 controller. But just to put it into perspective, there was a probe that was actually helped guided to Pluto using a PlayStation 1 CPU. Now, the reason why they used this specific one was because A, it had really low voltage, and B, it was just really reliable. So even though it was cheap, it still was really reliable. But not in this case. Now, I actually found the same controller this guy uses on Amazon, and I mean, it says $59, but look, I live in Monopoly land, okay? Australia just doesn't have a good currency, okay? Leave me alone. But, you know, it has a lot of reviews. I mean, it's like almost like 5 stars, but if I'm spending $250,000 on a single ticket and going 13,000 feet in a fucking metal tin, I maybe want a product that I'm gonna use that doesn't have any 1 star, 0 stars, or anything like that. Because even if you just read a few of these, the joystick sometimes moves by itself while playing games and I can't stop it. I don't know if the joystick is stuck, then it gets better. Bro, like, what is the real life implication of this? Is this guy just bumping into the Titanic on accident? Like, oh, sorry guys, it just does that. But even aside of all that, I mean, you know, my toaster broke the other day, you know what I mean? Things break, it is what it is. But why then go and say that safety is a pure waste? Quote, I mean, if you want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything. At some point, you're going to be taking some risk, and it really is a risk-reward question. I mean, look, man, you're 100% right, but like you should take the proper precautions and steps to try and minimize the amount of risk that you are taking. I mean, isn't that the whole point? The really scary thing about this is that this industry isn't really a regulated body, so government and committee don't really have a large say in what is kind of allowed, and it kind of goes with like whatever works, right? And you know, that isn't the best idea when the main guy doing it is considered the daredevil inventor. Like, bro, can I live? Like, this guy is giving me every reason to kind of maximize risk in this adventure. And I mean, like, he even called the industry obscenely safe and even went into more detail where he goes, it's obscenely safe because they have all these pesky regulations, because it hasn't innovated or grown, because they have all these regulations. This guy is ensuring that I die. It's just as simple as that. If I go on this, he's making sure I do not make it out. And I mean, like, this is really like dark humor type stuff, but it's really bad when I see stuff like this of what he said.
Rush says his submersible is one of the safest forms of transportation in the world.
You believe the Cyclops 2 is pretty much invulnerable.
By the time we're done testing it, I believe it's pretty much invulnerable.
And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic.
That's right.
But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully these guys do make it out. I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, this is such a scary situation to be a part of, and it just gives me anxiety just thinking about where they are right now. But you know, this is just like a tale of old times. You gotta follow, you know, these kind of regulations, man, because you never know what can go wrong, and you just have to test everything. But yeah, remember to subscribe, like, join the Discord, link in description. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.